So let's have a go at the Labour Party this time. We had a go at Dutton, so let's have a go at Chalmers, our federal treasurer. Is he a genius or a complete idiot? Quick political thing. In Australia, we've really got two main parties, Labour and Liberal. There's a few other things like the Greens and so on. So our Liberal Party is slightly to the right, not as much as the Republican Party is in America, but they're similar. And our Labour Party is to the left, so like the Democrats. We've currently got our Labour or left-leaning party in power, and our federal treasurer, the Honourable Jim Chalmers. Is he a genius or a complete idiot? Well, I'm going to tell you right now, he's a complete bloody idiot. He wants to bring in a tax on EVs. Now, whilst in principle I agree with this, I think it's way too early. Now, apparently, because petrol diesel cars have been getting more and more and more efficient, the fuel tax, fuel excise, is actually decreasing slightly for the federal government. Now, it currently stands at 50.6 Australian cents per litre. So you buy a litre of petrol for $2, 50.6 cents goes to the government in taxes and excise. You fill up your car with electrons, not much goes to the government. So that's their problem. Now, I'm seeing many reports that the fuel excise goes towards roads and the infrastructure and so on. Bullshit. It goes into consolidated revenue, and so it can be used to purchase nuclear subs from AUKUS, or it could be used to build a school or that sort of thing. But it's not only for roads. So if you see anybody going, you've got to pay your fair share for the upkeep of the roads, tell them to piss off, because we're not, or rather fuel people aren't. This tax that he's proposed, he put forwards at an Australian Business Council. I think it was breakfast, and it was a week ago. I read about it the next day and I just go, oh, shit. Look, there's only 200 or 300 EVs on the road in Australia at the moment. And we really do need to be encouraging EV uptake, because the cost to the community of continuing with petrol and diesel is far, far higher than any revenue you're going to get from introducing an EV tax. While I've got you here, don't forget that like and subscribe button below. It really does help the channel. So please, please, please click on both. Thank you very much. Now, the Victorian state government a few years ago did try to introduce a per kilometre road tax for EVs. And Chris van der Stok did a bloody good job taking them to the High Court, and it was struck down because it's an excise that only the federal government can charge. The states aren't allowed to charge it under our rules. So there's no idea of how this is going to be implemented. I've heard just today or yesterday that Trumpy over in the US wants to introduce an EV tax. He's canning the EV tax rebate of $7,500. He's canning the money to be spent on EV chargers. And despite the fact that Elon is doing things for him, I don't think Elon's having a word with him about EVs very much. So he wants to charge, I think it's $1,000 US, whether that's a one-off payment for EVs or it's an ongoing charge, I don't know. But the way that most countries have touted this is it's based on a per kilometre charge. Now, as I said, I don't mind this concept. We all have to pay our way. But I think that there should be a level playing field. Now, I think Victoria introduced a 2 cent per kilometre for PHEVs and a 2.5 cent per kilometre on EVs. So a 2.5 cent per kilometre, I'm going to base these calculations on 15,000 kilometres a year, which is supposedly the average travel that an Australian does. So if we look at 15,000 kilometres and 2.5 cents per kilometre, that's $375 on a yearly basis. But it was to go up each year. And by the end of about 5 years, it would have doubled. I forget the exact amount it was going up. It was going to be 5% or 10%. It was way above inflation, that's for sure. So after 5 years or 6 years, it was going to have doubled. So then you're paying $750 a year, which is 15,000 kilometres at 5 cents per kilometre. So let's just have a quick look at what petrol cars pay per year doing 15,000 kilometres a year. So I've got my calculator out here and I'm doing it as we speak. So 15,000 is 150 blocks of 100 kilometres. Now, a car that does 10 litres per 100k is going to use 1,500 litres of fuel. Now, at 50.6 cents, we come up with $759. So to charge EVs 5 cents per kilometre, that's about right. But then they'll be increasing it slowly, or at least that's what I would expect. So then we don't have parity. So this is what they should be doing. Remove all fuel excise. Now, all those petrol and diesel people will love that. They'll go from $2 per litre to $1.50 per litre. But then they've all got to pay the 5 cents per kilometre. That's fair. Yeah, since when have governments ever been fair? Also, in the description section below, there's links to my Ko-fi page if you want to help out in other ways than clicking that like and subscribe. Tesla referral, you may get some benefit from that, and a few other referrals for some accessories and so on. Thank you for helping me out. So let's say that there's 250,000 EVs on the road in Australia at the moment. Now, we actually added almost 100,000 in 2024, and it was currently sitting at about 7.4% of new cars sold were EVs. So 250,000 paying their $750 road user charge amounts to $187.5 million going into the federal coffers. Not exactly a huge amount. And this is at a time when we should be promoting EVs rather than hitting them with a stick. There should be a carrot, no stick. And the when you buy an EV at the moment, they are slightly more expensive than the equivalent petrol car. Some of them are a lot more expensive from some manufacturers, like the Hyundai Kona petrol. Go to the EV, you're almost double. So they are cheaper to run, yes, but it's still not a good idea, in my opinion, to introduce a road user charge or EV tax, because apart from having to spend more money to buy them, there's virtually no incentives in Australia to buy EVs. There used to be. Now, some states do have zero stamp duty on an EV at the time of purchase, or a decreased tax thing for their car each year. And here in WA, we've got a rebate of $3,500, but that expires at the beginning of May. So there's virtually no incentives in Australia to buy an EV. And we really need incentives, the carrot, not taxes, the stick. I don't know how America's going to go, as I've said, because Carrot Top over there wants to be called Stick because he just wants to smash EVs. Yeah. So what do you reckon about this EV tax or road user charge? Do you agree with me that we need a level playing field and every vehicle on the road needs to be paying? So take off the fuel excise, replace it with a road user charge for all vehicles. Now, for big, heavy trucks, and in this country we have some big, heavy trucks, we have what are called road trains, and they could be up to 80 metres long with 3 huge containers on them. They weigh tons and tons and tons. There's a lot more than my little Tesla Model Y, I can assure you of that. So we should be charging this road user charge not only per kilometre, but maybe per tonne. So you've got per tonne, let's say 2 cents per tonne per kilometre. So my car weighs, say 2 tonnes, smidge under. That's 4 cents per kilometre. And a 20-tonne truck will be paying 40 cents a kilometre because he'll do a lot more damage. What do you think to that for an idea? Cut the fuel excise flat out and just do a road user charge so that it's a level playing field, and maybe do it on a weight basis, because they keep saying, oh, it's to replace the road infrastructure. No, it's not. But if they're saying that, then they need to actually look at putting it into that purely. Yeah. What do you think? Comment below. What do you fancy? A road user charge flat across the board for all vehicles? A road user charge just for EVs? Or do it on a weight basis? I think that, to be fair, weight basis per kilometre, all vehicles. That's my opinion. So what do you reckon? There you go. Thanks for listening. I'd be interested in your comments below on what you think about this. We don't have a federal election coming up until May, maybe. So we'll just have to wait and see what happens after that. But I don't know. I would be happy if it was fair across the board, as I've said. So let me know below what you think. And while you're down there, there's that like and subscribe button. Thank you so much. And there's also in the description a link to my Ko-fi page, Tesla referral, etc., etc. So thank you very much, and I'll see you all very soon.